Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Slick Speak. Getting too groovy. Getting a little groovy. Okay. Welcome to Six Feet, guys. I was getting a little too groovy and getting a little too groovy on a Thursday, but I just like to welcome you guys to Slick Speaks. This is Gene here, your host, and I just want to comment on the whole fact of this whole reopening thing that's going on. Even though that we are on the decline and we are like actually seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, a lot of people are still feeling like we should reopen within like the next week or so. And majority of these people are, like our governor, Mr. DeSantis, and he wants to reopen. He wants to reopen Florida because he's seen a lot of people at work, and the whole fact of like this whole stimulus thing that's going around. A lot of people do not want handouts, even though that this is still an idea. I honestly have to think about it because like if we shouldn't even reopen. There's no even there's no point of actually reopening. And I feel like I touched upon this part because I feel like I touched upon this before because like in actuality you're not gonna there's nothing that that's gonna come great out of a reopen. And we should focus on our whole premise of declining, our whole premise of actually being better than what we actually were preempting this whole pandemic. And it's kind of scary to me that people would reconsider opening a week in advance. But who am I to judge? I'm just here actually listening and actually giving you just a small gist of like what's actually going on around us. And I would like to say, even though they might, what is it, put the idea of like there will be no such thing as hanging out with friends or actually conversing with your friends once this reopen comes around, or like having like major bashes and balls or whatever, block parties. There's not going to be any of that. They don't want any fun time. But I'm like, people barely listen to the rules as it is down here. So are we just trying to implode and trying to figure out like who has the bigger guns here? Like people don't even listen to the rules as of now. There's no point of like trying to say that you're trying to enforce anything. I feel like along the lines, everybody should, be parallel to Mr. Como in New York and how he's handling the situation. Being that New York barely has, you really have room for yourself in New York if you live in New York in these apartments. So the fact that the way that he's handling it, and being that he does handle like massive amount of people, and the number, what is it? The number I think a day or so ago was 400 plus died, and he had to actually I wouldn't like he had to take that number and actually figure out figure out I have to swallow this pill and I have to move forward. I'm not saying that he doesn't forget all those individuals that did die. It's just like there is a light after those guys as long as we keep everything controlled. I feel like keep everything controlled, under control, stop acting invincible, and I feel like I feel like a tape recorder saying the coronavirus the coronavirus, we need to be more cautious. But in actuality, um, in reality, I only see everybody taking a risk. I know I work at Home Depot, and it took them a while to actually put up a guard barrier between us and the customers. I already put that 6 feet that 6 feet frame universally for everybody. So it's kind of like the fact that it took us a delay to get something that we actually need. in advance when everything was actually spiking up in Florida. It was kind of like, wow, like how long is it gonna take us to actually react when something actually is actually happening? Are we gonna be always late to the party? But it all depends on like how what is it news is being transported to us and how our leaders are taking the news in and giving or like regurgitating it back to us, because usually there's not a lot of people that do read paper or do read articles, so they only rely on whatever the anchor or news anchors will put out that day. And this is I feel like I'm going down a dark path. Like this is where the negativity comes from. So you have to stay positive, especially on this decline. There is positivity that's coming out of this. I know a lot of people are are thinking, overthinking this, and thinking that this is hysteria or they're invincible, and that's just clearly not the case. You just got to be safe and just got to be to yourself, because in what is it? In actuality, we're gonna get back to party time. I mean, it is South Florida. I mean, if we did put our heads together, just like how I have been saying for I feel like I don't know how long, how many days I've been saying this. If we just put our heads together, we will find a solution. But it doesn't work like that. There's two ideas, and one idea has to win, and then that idea has to get backed up around by other people. I'm not saying that's what's happening at like my current situation on where I'm at in Broward County, but that's just I feel like that's all universal. And feeling that, I mean, are we really are we really becoming a hamster wheel for this whole pandemic? I, Reading these stories and actually feeling the news is very depressing. So let's turn it up. What is it? Let's just not turn it up a bit, but like switch gears a little bit, because I always feel. No, not I always feel, but like this whole like plan that I had is kind of like it's very dark. Like I'm at a funeral service. Like I feel like if we will think positive, we just have to think positive. There's no way of saying that you're already defeated before you even begin doing what you need to do. So it's kind of like we're gonna get through this. And this whole funeral service, let's talk about something that let's talk about something that really changes gears, because like um to be honest with you guys, just a random topic, just because I feel like I'm going down a weird coronavirus pan, pandemic. You just have to be cautious. Wash your hands. Do please allow yourself. Like if you feel like you're reckless, please stay away from me with that reckless stuff. Like if you feel like stay away from me. But just a random like about me, I kind of had to discover a whole new artist. I know this artist has been out for a while, and I did hear some of her songs like before like I didn't even know who that was, but before this whole pandemic scare, I did hear some of her songs, and I didn't know it was her. But in actuality, like I just learned about this artist, and she, what is it? She is pretty adequate in my like, and like if I would put it in my iTunes, or like not my iTunes, my like my ranking of songs, she is pretty adequate. But she does make good songs though. Like I would say, um, everybody knows it. Like if when I say the name, you be like you be surprised that why would I even? But she's really big. Like she's like a Post Malone type big, and the artist is Billie Eilish. Like I heard her song before I even knew her name, and I heard like collaborations that she did with Justin Bieber. I didn't even know her name, but what is it? She's a pretty dope singer. I really thought that I never really had her stored, so I didn't even know who she was. But when I started hearing her song, basically like I went through the whole rendition of like I forgot what movie I watched. It was Bohemian Rhapsody. I never knew how much songs. I never knew how much songs Queen had. That had to be Queen, right? Yeah, Queen themselves had that I had on what is it that I had on my playlist that I didn't know it was Queen, but it just said various artists. I didn't know it was Queen, and Queen had majority of the songs that I like. So I basically had like a Queen syndrome with Billie Eilish. I mean, she's a nice artist, but I mean, I wouldn't. I would listen to her on an occasion. It all depends on the occasion, but I learned I heard more of her songs than what is it? I heard more of her songs of her just basically what's the word? Of her just basically of her songs basically just ringing in my ear, but I don't know who the artist is, and I try to ask people, man, who is this artist or who is this person? Who is this Billie Eilish character? Who is what where is she from? Da 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 da. But I felt like I let myself down. The whole fact of like I didn't know Billie Eilish, but Billie like when I kept hearing the name of a Billie Eilish, I was not that person to actually go there and like actually listen to the artist. Me being myself, I know that like I'm not gonna listen to a recommendation because a lot of recommendations and everybody everybody's an individual, so not everybody's gonna like the same songs that everybody likes, and that tends to be the route I've been going down. So that's kind of like the funny, like epiphany. I can't say it's funny because can't say it's funny, but like an epiphany that happened to me because I'm like Billie Eilish. Everybody talked about her, like just really big. But I'm like, what songs did she wrote? But I actually heard majority of the song that she wrote, but I didn't know. So after like probably the fourth shot or like the third shot of whatever I had, I didn't even know that was like a Billie Eilish mix. That DJ, whoever that DJ was, he played some nice Billie Eilish, and I have to say, I was very skeptical. I can't say Billie Eilish was gonna be my first toss up if I had to have a long road trip, and hopefully, you know, with that little side story of my whole epiphany with Billie Eilish, being that I did kind of discover an already discovered artist, not like not like she was on the ground or anything. Everybody knew about her, or everybody heard her just like myself and didn't know the song, but or no, didn't know the person who sung the song, but just like the whole vibe of the song. But hopefully you will probably relate to the you'll probably relate to me because like in all honesty, when you do go out and you do hear a song, you do hear something over on the overhead, and you do like the vibe of the song, but you never heard the song a day in your life, you can't say that you're gonna download the song, or you can't say you're gonna pull out your Shazam app. It's ridiculous when you pull out. Do not pull out a Shazam app and try to figure out what type of song is that in the middle of like a club, because you will lose your phone. It'll probably go on the floor, witness, or basically lose your phone because like why would you? This is not a concert. Why are you going out to the speaker box of where the DJ is to Shazam this song? What is wrong with you? Like, enjoy the atmosphere. We need to stop living through our phones. I'm not saying now, though, because it's a pandemic, 6 feet apart. This is like the closest I can get to you. So, for at the moment, or at this whole this whole environment, we should stick to our phones, laptops, anything electronic. At least we were kind of prepared for this pandemic, because a lot of people do need that face on face recognition. Just like, what is it, my mom like doing FaceTime with me, and a lot of people like my brothers, which I don't understand, like doing FaceTime with me, even though FaceTime is a good feature. But sometimes it's kind of like, I can call you, man. You can text me that, man. But I'm not the one to. I'm not the one to. Only, what is it? Only, I feel like only time you'll use like a video thing is like either if you're sharing your screen like everybody's doing right now, on a project, sharing your screen, or just instructing something or showing somebody something, basically like that, because it gets it out the way. You can't just be sending pictures and, hey, saying you got the picture, you got the picture. I feel like that's the best effective way to use FaceTime. But we can use FaceTime in the happiest manners, as we do right now, as I'm probably gonna do within like the next 15 minutes, because either I'm gonna call my mom or she's gonna call me within the next 15 minutes. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's like clockwork. But with this clockwork, we're on the decline, guys. And being that we are on the decline, stay positive, remain positive, and remember, you won't look silly knowing a very popular, not knowing a very popular artist. Just play it off. Billie Eilish, your songs are, nah, I can't say amazing. Your songs are a vibe. I was gonna lie to you if I say amazing, but your songs are very, what is it? Your songs are very much a vibe. I like your songs, but I just have to say Billie Eilish. I do on occasion do listen to your songs. Like, I can't say you're not good. You're not a good artist, but I have to say you won't look foolish knowing like a big artist, guys. So discover, stay positive, and please do not use your Shazam app. And remember, this is the sad part. This is the sad part that I have to live with in my reality. We need to stay positive to reopen, so we can actually reopen the proper way, keep our numbers down, and actually open a barbershop. Because in every state's checklist, salons, no, besides Georgia, I think Georgia opens salons, but majority, can't say majority, I can only stand for the state that I'm in right now. Mr. DeSantis is putting getting your haircut last on last on the list. I wish he heard this, because honestly, guys, he wouldn't change his mind if he did heard this, because it's a haircut, it's a salon. You will, what is it? You're getting close to a person. It's not helping the cause. It's actually hurting the cause. So I can't argue with them on that, and I have to say, like, it really hurts me not over not having my barber. And what is it? There are a lot of underground work in the barbershop system, or the barbering system. I can't take those chances, even though the prices did significantly drop from when I told you previously, because they were charging 100 plus. They did significantly drop to an average haircut, but I don't want to take that risk. It's kind of like, will I risk having a nice haircut in this hype that is not even cleared that has not even cleared the state to be reopened yet? That's a big risk. Not I'm willing to take, but like, that's a big risk to take. And right now, I'm kind of, yeah, I kind of have to close that door on that risk until we reopen. So stay positive, guys. We need to reopen. We need to live our new normal, even though this is like the bridge to our new normal. I feel like tech's gonna be really big in this new normal because I think everybody's reassessing themselves on computers. Because if you're not, you're kind of gonna get left behind. If you're not reassessing, you gotta reassess yourself on what's going on, tech wise. What is it? News wise, basically everything around you wise. But I have to say we have to stay positive so we can open barbershops and actually go back to this new normal and live out our lives. Don't everybody want to go outside and go on a playground? Like I wouldn't mind going on a playground. I wouldn't mind shooting like 10 baskets and then leaving because Florida heat is kind of like at your neck, and I can't have that. But the at your neck heat, I can only physically have it at the beach, but at the neck, I can't do it. But that's all I have for today on Slick Speaks. And any questions, comments, I'll be back here next week, Tuesday and Thursdays, 10:30. So keep it locked, keep it tuned with Slick Speaks, which I'm gonna be updating you on coronavirus, everything everything besides the coronavirus, but I will be giving you updates on it because it's too negative. You have to stay positive in this life. And that's all from me, Gene, here on Slick Speaks. Until next time.